Hey everybody, this is On the Ground with me, the Garrard County 4-H Youth Development Agent, Eric Comley. And first of all, I want to say thank you to everybody that has reached out and has been very complimentary of the segments. I have enjoyed doing them so much. I've enjoyed getting across central and eastern Kentucky. I haven't been to western Kentucky yet. I apologize, but just getting across and seeing all kinds of really cool plants. I am a plant person. I love plants. Studied a little bit in college, but really have enjoyed plants and get to see some of the really cool plants that we have across Kentucky. And we do. It's such a beautiful state, and we have really this unique diversity and I've talked about the topography and the geology and soil and all those kinds of things that make up this uniqueness about Kentucky. And we have all these little micro places that you find, and there's all kinds of cool things. Now, the one that I'm going to show you all today, this is one that I've seen a lot of posts about, and the reason I've seen a lot of posts about it is it's in flower right now, and it's a roadside plant. One of the things that the Office of Kentucky Nature Preserves is doing right now is they're actually doing a roadside survey. So if you go to iNaturalist, the iNaturalist app, or you can actually get online on a laptop or a tablet or whatever, and you can do stuff on that as well. But one of the things that they're doing is they're basically taking an inventory of some of the plants that we have across Kentucky, and hopefully being able to establish mowing patterns so that we can preserve some of the species that we see on the roadsides. And I've seen some of the really cool species that I've never seen before. Like, I saw Canada lily. It was like right on the side of the road. I've seen, there's a lot of plants that grow on the side of the road, and this is one of them. Now, this is very common. This one is in the Ranunculaceae family, which is the buttercup family. And we've talked about all kinds of different buttercups, and I'll get into that in just a second. This one, the scientific name of it is Clematis viorna, and it's basically vase vine, or what is also called leatherflower, all right? And we have like 8 different species of clematis in Kentucky, and some of them are very rare. This is obviously one of the more common ones, and I've seen this one in McCreary County, I've seen it in Pulaski County, I've seen it in Casey County, so I've seen it in a variety of places, but it is really such a unique flower. Very, very thick flower. Let me tell you a little bit about the plant. Oh, and the etymology of the name. That's I love the etymology of the name. So clematis, that simply means vine. Okay, and then viorna is actually, it's made up of 2 Latin words, and those words come together and mean roadside or road ornament. Okay, so obviously we're talking about roadside plants. Well, anyway, so a little bit about the plant. It is a vine. It's a climbing vine, and you'll usually see it on the side of the road. It does have a compound leaf. So when we talk about leaves, and we talk about simple versus compound, we actually have what is also called decompound or bipinnately compound. So we have a lot of unique leaf shapes and formations as well. So this one is in a compound, which means that it has 1 petiole, and then it has leaflets that are actually attached to that petiole. So when we talk about simple leaves, we're talking about leaves like a maple leaf or a sycamore leaf, something that has a petiole and then what is also called a single blade. All right. And then with compound, you have multiple leaflets that are on sometimes what is called a rachis. All right. And then within compound, there's different types of compound leaves. Like I said, there's decompound leaves or bipinnately compound. That could be things like Kentucky coffee tree, which has an incredibly huge leaf because it has, these compounds on top of compounds. Then you have things like a walnut that is pinnately compound, which means it has a long rachis and it has leaflets on either side of it. And then you have palmately compound, which, if you look at your hand, palmately, and that's things like a buckeye, okay, which we have a few of in Kentucky. So let's get back to talking about this plant. So it has this compound leaf structure. It is opposite. And so you can see that if you can see that vine there, you can see that it's opposite or right across from each other. So we have opposite and alternate. but this is opposite. And then it has these flowers that come out, and these flowers are really very heavy. And oh, I had a bee that was flying around here. So we have these really heavy, thick flowers, hence the name Leatherflower, okay? And they are urn-like or vase-like structures, okay? So what you're seeing there is the sepals, and this is what's curling back that you're seeing actually on the flower. So now a couple of things about vase vine or leatherflower is this one, you know, as far as the ranunculus, oh, look at that. Let's talk a little bit about pollinators. So obviously bees, bees, oh, obviously bees are one of the pollinators for this one. You also get butterflies. It also attracts hummingbirds. There's all kinds of really cool things that love these things. And this is a like pretty typical of an of aerial pollinators. So, you know, you've got this extended flower that's out. And so you're not going to get a lot of things that are going to crawl up from the ground to get to it. So you actually have these pollinators that, you know, have to go up in there. So there's all kinds of cool things. Now, with the Ranunculaceae family, you know, it can cause what is called contact dermatitis, which means that if you touch it, you can, you know, it'll cause some whelps on the skin, not like poison ivy, but it can cause whelps on the skin. It can just, it can cause some issues as far as the skin is concerned, which is, in the Middle Ages, I was reading one of the books doing a little bit of research about the flower, but in the Middle Ages, they actually used to, beggars and people would take it and wipe a clematis on their skin, and so that it would cause whelps. And, you know, if you saw somebody that had whelps and things like that on it, you were more likely to give them money or food or those kinds of things. So that happened in the Middle Ages. But it does cause contact dermatitis. A lot of things in the Ranunculaceae family are poisonous. And so there's, you know, some plants that, you know, this one, like for cats, humans, obviously dogs, there's a lot of animals that shouldn't eat it. But I know there's a lot of animals that also browse on it as well. And then the seeds, which are very unique. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can find, oh, here's one right here. Look at this seed. All right. So look at it starting there. It's got these wild looking hair-like structures that come out of it. And eventually this will kind of turn into like a very light, plumy thing that can travel via the air. So the seed dispersal is really cool. I mean, so when you learn about plants, I mean, one of the things you want to figure out is how does it get its seeds, flowering plants, how does it get its seeds from one spot to the next? And so this one has this very unique showy flower or showy seed structure like this, or fruit structure, so that it can actually pass along via the wind. This is a really amazing flower. It doesn't have any medicinal uses. Obviously, like I said, it's poisonous, but you have to think about that buttercup family. Now, that buttercup family, when you look at this and you think, you know, this is Ranunculaceae, but then you think about like anemone. Hey everybody, it's me, Eric Comley, the Garrard County 4-H agent, and this is On the Ground, and I am here, and I'm going to get started in just a second, but I wanted to you all to see, did you all see the, oh wow, the bumblebee that was here? That's awesome. So I've been doing these segments all summer, and I've really had a great time traveling across like central and eastern Kentucky and getting to see some of the cooler plants that we have in Kentucky. And I started out doing this because, you know, well, we're in this very unique time in our history. And I thought, you know, it'd just be something neat that I can do. I mean, I love plants, and I love the chance to get out and photograph plants. And you know, as the situation has continued, you know, I just really had to, I've really been, I'm going to start over.